Find Emma. Stop Arsenal.
My sister.
You actually wrote this virus?
It's designed to invade GW's cerebrum and render its nerve connections useless.
You know what GW is?
Of course. I created it.
Get that disc over here as soon as possible. I'm afraid her time's running out. Damn! The connection's been cut. Change sides? I don't recall saying I was on yours.
Everything you know, you learned from me, Jack the Ripper.
Chapter 13. GW. After this conversation, Olga releases the restraints on Raiden remotely, and Raiden hurries out to find Snake, completely naked. Campbell calls Raiden and tells him that he must continue his mission, though he sounds like he's using a malfunctioning voice box.
He was never factored into the simulation. Leave him out of this.
He tells Raiden that he has to continue the mission without Snake, as Snake was quote-unquote never factored into the simulation. There's that word again. After Campbell insists that he must kill Solidus and specifically retrieve Arsenal gear intact, Raiden becomes suspicious and asks him if he's under orders from the Patriots. Campbell responds by pushing him again, by once again telling him what his role is. And finally, Raiden catches on to the weird words and asks him why he keeps saying the word role. At this point, Campbell starts acting very weird. He responds by saying,
"Why not? This is a type of role-playing game. The point is that you play out your part, and I expect you to turn in a perfect performance."
At this point, Raiden recalls that he has never met Campbell in person. After Campbell pushes him to complete his mission, Raiden finally asks him who he really is, and Campbell simply responds by telling him,
"No more questions. We have Rosemary. Over and out."
As Raiden continues to make his way through Arsenal gear, he keeps getting constant calls from Campbell and Rose, all of them weird in many ways, from pointless and irrelevant stories.
Raiden, something happened to me last Thursday when I was driving home. I had a couple of miles to go. I looked up and saw a glowing orange object in the sky to the east. It was moving very irregularly. Suddenly, there was intense light all around me, and when I came to, I was home. What do you think happened to me?
To breaking the fourth
Fine.
wall.
Turn the game console off right now.
What did you say?
The mission is a failure. Cut the power right now.
What's wrong with you?
Don't worry, it's a game. It's a game just like usual.
You'll ruin your eyes playing so close to the TV.
What are you talking about?
Or Campbell forgetting what game he's in.
Infiltrate the enemy fortress, Outer Heaven. Destroy the final weapon, Metal Gear.
Or just complete nonsense and gibberish.
I hear it's amazing when the famous purple stuffed worm in Flapjaw Space with the tuning fork does a raw blink on Harry Carey Rock. I need scissors. 61.
At one point, your radar turns into a video of a Japanese girl. It's all very disturbingly comical. Finally, Rose calls Raiden. This is kind of another dramatic talk, but don't worry, it's more interesting and relevant. Rose reveals that their meeting 2 years ago wasn't a coincidence. She was ordered by the Patriots to keep an eye on him. She reported to them everything about him, but she tells them that her feelings for him were real and she really did fall in love with him. She apparently changed herself to fit everything he likes, her eyes, her personality, everything. She tries to explain that now she just wants him to see the real her, as it hurt her to know that the woman he was in love with was just a character. This knowledge actually makes Raiden colder. It seems like he just had enough of all this manipulation, and he pretty much tells her that he doesn't care, as knowing that she was never even real actually makes him feel better. Tired of being used by everyone, Jack starts becoming cynical and cold in his responses. But Rose interrupts him and tells him one last thing before ending the call.
Jack!
What?
I'm carrying. I'm pregnant, Jack.
Rose! What's going on?
After the call, Snake finally shows up and gives Raiden his gear. Snake apologized for using him as bait to get into Arsenal gear. Remember when Snake said he was never on Raiden's side? Well, that's technically true, as Raiden was unknowingly working for the Patriots. As to why Snake didn't tell Raiden about Olga?
You never asked.
Snake tells him that he still hasn't seen any effect from the virus and that Arsenal gear is headed for the Manhattan Harbor. Not only that, but they have a group of 25 Metal Gear raids to look forward to. Snake hands Raiden the blade Olga used as the cyborg ninja before heading out, while giving Raiden some friendly and wise advice to help him get over not knowing what is and isn't true in his life.
Find something to believe in, and find it for yourself. And when you do, pass it on to the future.
Believe in what?
That's your problem.
Otacon then calls them and tells them that the hostages are safe. Raiden tells Otacon about Campbell's last weird transmission, and Otacon assures him that he'll dig into it. After making it further into Arsenal gear, Otacon calls back with some info about Campbell. He tells Raiden that try as he may, every time he tracks the Colonel's signal, it keeps taking him back to Arsenal gear. Not as a relay point, however, but as the point of origin. Furthermore, the encryption protocol is the exact same that the GWAI uses, the AI inside of Arsenal gear. This all means that since the beginning of the mission, Raiden has been talking to GW, the AI. This is why everyone keeps telling him that Foxhound has been disbanded, because it has. The Patriots assigned Raiden to the mission after recruiting him to a unit that no longer exists, Foxhound. In order to communicate with him and give him orders, they used the personification of a former colonel of Foxhound, Campbell. All of this to fool Raiden into believing that he was really in an official mission given to him by the military and that everything the colonel is telling him is true. But he never even worked for the military, as Foxhound was not around when he joined. It was all a fake op made by the Patriots. All his training was VR training, aside from his fighting in Liberia. In other words, Raiden has been working for the Patriots and has been monitored by them since they kidnapped him. His whole life has been shaped by their will, and he believed it all thanks to their mind-altering implants and his own hatred for his past. He never got away from the Patriots. Otacon goes on to say that GW isn't talking directly to him, but instead it's creating a version of Campbell that is manifested through Raiden's own expectations and knowledge of Foxhound and Campbell himself. In a way, Campbell is half GW and half his own creation. The reason he is now acting so erratic is because the virus may have started to work on GW. At this point, Raiden seems to start having a mental breakdown, not knowing what's real or what's even his thoughts anymore, not knowing who to trust and who's even real.
It was all an illusion? Everything I've done so far?
Raiden.
Snake, what's happening around here?
But Snake brings him back to reality and they continue with their mission. They enter a large room where they are attacked by dozens of soldiers. As they fight them off, more GW fuckery begins to happen, but Snake and Raiden come out victorious. However, Fortune comes in, happy at the fact that she finally gets to meet Solid Snake, the man she claims killed her father. Snake seems to have no idea what she's talking about, and she's yet to explain who her father is. But as she begins to charge her gun, Snake tells Raiden to go on ahead as he fights her. And before starting the battle, Snake makes it clear to her that he did not kill her father. Chapter 14, the S3 plan. Raiden comes up into the top of Arsenal gear, which for some reason has a weird look where there's just a big holographic looking floor with an empty space all around it. Looks like something you would see at the final boss fight of some JRPG. Anyways, Solid speaks to Raiden from somewhere. He wonders if Raiden's skills throughout the mission is a result of him remembering how he used to fight in the old days, or a result of the S3 plan. At which point, he begins to finally explain what the Patriots' S3 plan is. Apparently, Ocelot dug up information about the S3 plan while going through GW. This is how Solidus knows about it. S3, SSS. It stands for Solid Snake Simulation, a program being tested to artificially reproduce Solid Snake out of any soldier. Snake is seen as the perfect warrior after all his legendary feats. Much like how Big Boss was considered the best soldier back in the 1900s, and Zero cloned him as insurance to continue having a soldier of his caliber if Big Boss left Cypher, Solid Snake is now seen as the perfect soldier. But the Patriots have found a different way of recreating the perfect soldier. Instead of going through the trouble of cloning Big Boss or cloning Snake, they can take any warrior and put him through similar situations as Snake in order to shape him into becoming just like Snake using VR simulations of Snake's mission. Throughout the game, especially near the beginning, Raiden mentions that he has had extensive VR training.
Alright, Raiden. You've already covered infiltration and VR training.
I've completed 300 missions in VR. I feel like some kind of legendary mercenary.
You're familiar with the Shadow Moses incident?
You know I covered it in VR.
Any field experience?
No, not really.
So this is your first.
I've had extensive training, the kind that's indistinguishable from the real thing.
Like what?
Sneaking mission 60, weapons 80, advanced,
VR, huh?
but realistic in every way.
The Patriots created two specific VR simulations for the S3 program. One depicting the events of Shadow Moses, and the other, the events of the tanker incident. Raiden has mentioned taking part in both of these, so he has gone through the S3 program, which is meant to shape him into becoming like Solid Snake. But wait, this doesn't explain what Olga said, how the Patriots' final goal is the S3 plan. I mean, if the VR simulations were what was supposed to make Raiden the perfect soldier, then what does that have to do with the Patriots' current goal? We'll know soon enough. Solidus mentions that all of the convenient occurrences, like the real Solid Snake showing up, made him suspicious that the Patriots were within his ranks, so he used Raiden to figure out who it was. Then, Solidus shows up, only to send in the army of Rays after Raiden. Rays are seen walking towards him from a distance. The Rays all attack him, and so we begin our next boss battle, or next 3 to 20 boss battles, depending on the game's difficulty. Jack miraculously emerges victorious, but he hasn't even killed all the Rays stored in Arsenal gear. After destroying multiple Rays, Jack collapses from exhaustion, and one of the Rays used this opportunity to try and crush him. But, much like Gray Fox did when Rex tried to crush Snake, Olga jumps in, but doesn't do anything. Her appearance alone is enough to make Solidus stop the Rays. Now he knows for sure who the Patriot spy within his ranks was. Olga tells Solidus that she is aware that she's going to hell for betraying her comrades, which she considers her family, but at least her child will have a chance to live. With this, Solidus jumps out of somewhere and uses his weird tentacle suit to grab Olga and shoot her in the head. As Solidus signals the Rays to resume their attack, they all go haywire, and we hear Ocelot telling Solidus that GW is out of control. When Ocelot assures him that there is no way to make GW function normally again, we finally get to see Solidus in action as he takes care of the remaining Rays.
Damn the Patriots!
Chapter 15. Solidus grabs a hold of Raiden and tells him that he still has some use. Then, Fortune walks in with Snake in handcuffs as Raiden passes out. When he wakes up, he's in a similar area, but now it looks normal. We are indeed at the top of Arsenal Gear overlooking the ocean. Solidus chokes Raiden in an attempt to get answers out of the Patriots somehow. Maybe he assumes that they care about his life, or maybe he assumes there's another of his crew working with him. Either way, it doesn't work, and Solidus reveals that he knows that Fortune is planning on hijacking Arsenal gear. But he tells her that he was planning on giving Arsenal gear to her anyways. He wasn't really interested in Arsenal gear itself. I mean, think about it. It needs other Metal Gears as guards and a giant payload of warheads and full air, sea, and land support to function efficiently. Without any support, which he doesn't have since he's not the government, Arsenal gear is just a giant coffin waiting to be attacked. What Solidus really wanted was information inside of GW. Specifically, he wanted the information the Patriots wanted to filter out once GW went active. And even more specifically, he wanted the names of the 12 highest ranking members of the Patriots, the Wise Men's Committee. Since this was information they were going to filter out when GW went live, this means that within GW there had to be parameters that would tell the program what to erase. His plan was to give Arsenal gear to Dead Cell so that they would distract the Patriots while Solidus killed the Wise Men's Committee one by one. This was his plan all along. He just needed Dead Cell as a distraction for the final part of his plan. Despite the fact that GW is destroyed, Solidus mentions that there is still another way to get their names. Even knowing that this was all part of Solidus' plan and that he's planning on using her as a distraction, Fortune still plans to take Arsenal and launch the purified hydrogen bomb, which is probably why Solidus didn't mind revealing his plan to her. She's pretty suicidal. After this whole tirade, the master of subterfuge and spying starts to laugh. Ocelot. Now we get to hear what's really going on here. Yeah, you thought the other Metal Gears were full of twists. Ha! Ocelot says that while he did tell Solidus about the S3 plan, the VR training was not the main exercise. Instead, this whole event, the whole Big Shell incident, were all completely orchestrated events by the Patriots to create a real-life simulation that resembled the Shadow Moses incident. So that's 4 birds with 1 stone that the Patriots killed? Ames and the president's death were meant to resemble the death of Donald Anderson and the Armstead president, Kenneth Baker. Olga as the ninja was meant to represent, well, Gray Fox as the ninja. And then there was Emma's virus, which mimicked Fox Die in the very loose way that it pinpointed on certain areas of GW to kill instead of just killing the whole thing. Though that's kind of a stretch. Dead Cell is a stand-in for Foxhound, as they're kind of a group of freaks just like Foxhound. Point is, all of these events were orchestrated. Ames' nanomachines were used to shut down his pacemaker and cause a heart attack. This is also why Ocelot killed the president himself. Ocelot arranged for Olga's appearance as a cyborg ninja. This is also why there were so many similar scenarios like Mr. X calling you for the Claymore mines, or the electrified floor, or even going in through water. This whole game resembled Metal Gear Solid quite a lot. Ocelot also revealed that the virus not only cut the connection between GW and Arsenal gear, but it also deleted all traces of the Patriots from GW. So Solidus' plan of getting the Patriots' name from GW was never going to work to begin with. Fat Man, however, was a special story. He was actually a Patriot spy within Dead Cell. The Patriots assigned him to test Raiden to see if he was ready to face the rest of the simulation. Remember how AI Campbell kept calling his mission a simulation? Fat Man only agreed under the conditions that Stillman showed up to the Big Shell, which is why he was there. This whole event was just a simulation used to gather data in order to create the S3 program. This isn't even the S3 program in itself. This is essentially a simulation used to gather data, and that data will be used for the actual S3 program. So in other words, this whole event was just a practice event, and Raiden was the guinea pig. If it was successful, they would gather the data from this exercise and use it to create the S3 program. Even Solidus had a role. His role was chosen because of his relationship with Raiden, which resembled the relationship between Big Boss and Solid Snake. Although that wasn't part of the Shadow Moses incident, I'm sure that if they want to shape someone to be like Snake, they have to include killing his own father figure. It goes further, however. They purposely let Dead Cell know that throwing Commander Jackson, the leader of Dead Cell and Fortune's husband, was all part of a cover by the Patriots. They let Dead Cell know that on purpose. That wasn't unfiltered information. The reason they did that was so they would be incited with rage to have their revenge on the Patriots. This is how they got them to take part in the Big Shell incident. The Patriots never controlled directly. They orchestrate events to make chain reactions that lead to their goals. This is how they managed to stay so secret. Ocelot even reveals to Fortune that he's the one who sank the tanker, not Snake. According to Ocelot, however, the only unexpected event was the appearance of the real Solid Snake, which made him wonder who called him. While still in shock from realizing that everyone she's lost and everything she has done has all been because of the puppeteering of the Patriots, Fortune raises her gun at Ocelot, and Ocelot quickly reacts by shooting her, and actually hitting her. Apparently, the reason nothing hit Fortune was because of an electromagnetic device she carried on her. A device made by the Patriots. There was nothing actually special about her. She has no powers. Even worse, Ocelot is now wearing said gadget, so when she tries to shoot him, the shot gets deflected, so is every shot by everyone else. Even missiles shot by Solidus, as Ocelot somehow Superman jumps onto Ray. Ocelot attempts to kill all of them using Ray, starting with Solidus. But Solidus deflects the bullets using dual swords. Yeah, okay. One of those bullets get deflected onto Snake's handcuffs and weaken them. In retaliation to Solidus, Ocelot unloads all of Ray's payload to try and kill them all with one attack. It's a bit much. Fortune steps in front of everyone and holds her arms up to deflect the missiles, because she doesn't understand that she's not a... Oh, wait. It actually worked. She... okay. She has powers. Okay. This is the one bit of supernatural bullshit that's actually not explained. She just has powers, much like Psycho Mantis. Before collapsing and dying, Fortune says,
"My name is Helena Dolph Jackson, the daughter of a proud and noble soldier."
Having used all of Ray's missiles, Ocelot prepares to use Ray's water cutter, but he's stopped by Liquid's arm. Yep, this is happening again. This has happened actually once or twice more in the game. I just haven't said it because it's not really all that relevant. He comes out of Ray's cockpit as Liquid Snake and greets his brothers.
Brothers!
He refers to himself as a sleeper in the arm of a Patriot spy. Being inside Ocelot the whole time, he knew everything Ocelot knew about the Patriots. Also, it was Liquid that leaked information about Arsenal Gear to Otacon to get him and Snake to the Big Shell, as for some reason only Solid Snake's presence can free Liquid. Now, knowing everything Ocelot knows about the Patriots, Liquid plans to kill the Patriots for good and finally finish the goal he set when he was a child.
I will surpass my father, destroy my father, destroy you. I'll kill all of Cypher. I'll destroy your precious world.
Liquid gets inside of Ray and programs Arsenal Gear to crash into the Manhattan Bay. As Liquid gets ready to jump off of Arsenal Gear with Ray, Snake manages to break out of his handcuffs and chases after him. Yeah, he's seriously diving behind a giant robot to chase it. Arsenal Gear is making its way past the Verrazano Bridge onto the bay. The cutscene showing Arsenal Gear actually crashing into the bay was censored due to the release of the game being close to the events of 9/11. Which is ironic considering the themes of this game. So the next scene we see is Raiden and Solidus falling on a rooftop of a building in Manhattan.